right, how is everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out my channel. So what I want to get into today is regarding working out. But I'm here to tell you it's actually quite the opposite of what you think. So I'm a lot of times putting up videos on different types of workouts, different places I go to work out, different types of routines you could do while working out, how to hopefully get you motivated to work out, different things regarding how to gain weight, lose weight, get stronger, get faster, all these different types of things I'm always posting. But today I'm going to actually get into something much different, and it's regarding people that actually have for many years tried to get in shape or tried to work out and it just never worked out for them. And I'm here to tell you that joining a gym or weight training or even doing ellipticals or treadmills or bicycling, all those things just may not work for you. You just may not have the interest in doing that. It's that simple. But here's the thing, if you do want to stay healthier, you're going to have to learn to do things that are going to obviously help you in the long term. Get blood flow, get your heartbeat up a little bit. And again, that doesn't mean you have to go join a gym or you have to run or jog or do sprints or beat the shit out of yourself. There's a lot of things you can do out there that can help you get healthier. I had Italian immigrant grandparents. One lived to almost his mid-80s, my grandfather Joe, Nona Joe, and my grandma Angie, my Nona Angie, she lived to 93, almost 94 years old. Neither one of them really ever worked out in their life. And I see a lot of people now who work out very hard throughout their life. A lot of them are passing away at younger ages. Some are getting cancer, some are getting they're getting all different types of diseases that they're passing away, and a lot of them live very, very healthy lifestyles. I even have a cousin that ended up, I think he had a triple or quadruple bypass in his late 30s, and I know a lot of these things can be hereditary, but he was very physically fit. Mountain biking, his wife actually owns a Pilates company, and things like that just happen. So you got to realize a lot of times when it comes to working out, it's not the cure of all things. It works for some people, don't get me wrong. Is it better to work out and exercise than it is not to? Maybe. It just depends on the extremeness you go to when working out, because for many, many years I worked out with a lot of big, heavy weights, and I think I had what is called a reverse anorexiism, which is I always had insecurities where no matter how big I got, I felt very small. No matter how strong I got, I felt very weak, which is almost like a disease in itself, and I think a lot of bodybuilders can relate to that. And was I helping myself as I got to 200, to 220, to 230, to 250? My heart, I can just tell, was just brutal. I could tell everything about me was changing. In a way, I thought I was healthier, but the truth is I was becoming very unhealthy. And it goes the other way as well. A lot of people too, when they think they're losing weight by taking certain meds or pills or whatever they're doing to lose weight very drastically or quickly, is just because you're losing weight does not mean you're losing it the right way or the healthy way. I mean, you becoming thinner may be a little better for you, but how you lose your weight or gain your weight means a lot. You got to make sure you're taking care of yourself and you're doing that properly. And a lot of people don't. They just want a quick shortcut. And I go through a program how to lose a pound a week or a pound a month of weight if you want to lose weight slowly and consistently. Same with gaining weight. I am not about shocking your body. Even if you joined a gym hypothetically or whatever you start doing, I want you to do it as slow as possible. I promise you it will just be so much better. I don't care if you just decide to start walking today. Start off with a block. The next day, maybe do 2 blocks. You know what I mean? Maybe the next day do 2 blocks again, whatever. And then as time goes on, just consistently be increasing your walking lengths. And you're not going to kill yourself. I think what happens to most people is they jump in head first. And especially when joining a gym, they get a trainer, or they have all these aspirations of what they're going to do physically. They start doing them. They get very sore. They hurt themselves. They don't feel as good as, they should feel. And a lot of times you may be getting the results you want. So a lot of people do join the gym after New Year's or whatever, and they start losing 5, 10, 15 pounds. But at the same time, they're very sore. So, and they don't like what they're going through to lose that weight. So on one end, they're losing the weight they wanted to lose, but on the other end, they're physically beating themselves to death. And I'm the type of person who I love entering the pain zone. Some people just like going into the pain zone. Some people love being sore. Some people just love pushing themselves to extremes, and I'm one of those people. That doesn't mean I'm going to jump out of an airplane or do things in that nature. I'm not like an extreme. I love watching extreme sports, but I'm not an extremist in another way. I'm an extremist when it comes to the gym or pushing myself, and I think I've been programmed that way because going back from a young age, my mother, we moved into a nice suburb at 5 years old in Chicago, and I was able to go to a huge YMCA, which I think is the biggest in the Midwest. Out of a fluke, was right behind our apartment complex. So my mother used to take me there to drop me off at 5 years old, and I used to start obviously doing different things, and that's when weights started to really start to become popular in the mid-70s. There was also the big boom with the Chicago health clubs, and my mother used to do yoga. She played some indoor tennis, so when I go there as well, you know, they would babysit you or whatever, but it wasn't like now they had areas where kids could just go and hang out, child care centers. I'd actually just go do yoga with my mom a little bit, or go play tennis with her, or just run for the ball, or go in these little weight room areas. And I just slowly but surely started to excel in sports. My mother loved sports, and I was playing sports from basically 5 years old on, and the YMCA then allowed me to start working out at around 12 years old inside the free weight area and the equipment. I used to be able to swim. I used to do high diving. I did everything in that YMCA because in Chicago you're freezing your ass off, so there wasn't much more to do for me in the 70s and 80s. Was either go to a library or you go to a gym. In my opinion, I went to the gym. That's where I excelled, was in sports. But I realized over the years, most people are going to quit working out. They don't necessarily stick with it for year after year after year because it becomes redundant. They get bored, their schedules change, their bodies change. And again, you have to realize too, when you're working out, do not, or if you end up working out, don't try to keep up with the past. Don't try to keep up with what other people are telling you, the condition or the weight you should be or the shape you should be in at your age. That's all bullshit. Everybody has their own body, their own body weight, their own genetics. So don't get caught up. And I think that's something that distracts a lot of people from really excelling, is because they're always comparing themselves to people in the gym, younger or even older. You see somebody who's older than you that's more fit, you're like, I'll never be like that, or I can't keep up with that. Don't get caught up in that shit. It's not about getting caught up in anything, right? You got to learn too, as you get older, that you aren't going to be as strong as you were, right? But working out, how do I say this? But the consistency in you working out and not beating yourself up and just getting through the workout and letting it be a healthy workout. Something that's helping you in the long run. Not, you know, I see tons of my friends, and I talk about this in other videos, that are really beat up because we all did a lot of heavy powerlifting. They tried to keep up in their youth. You know, we're in our 30s, then we're in our 40s, and I did it too. I'm still lifting kind of heavy weights, but not to the point where I have major shoulder damage, and I do. I have some shoulder damage, but a lot of my friends, their rotator cuffs are destroyed. A lot of our tendons and joints are destroyed. Just put on YouTube, like, bodybuilders and powerlifters, and even a lot of professional athletes, where do they end up in their life, in their middle age, you know, in that middle-aged area? Basically, where do they end up when they were middle-aged? A lot of them can't even get out of bed. And I want you to know, again, you don't have to join a gym to get in shape or start feeling good. You can start, again, walking. I have a cousin that literally wanted to lose like 40, 50 pounds. He doesn't like the gym any longer. He doesn't like lifting weights. He likes tennis. He just started walking a couple miles a day consistently. I don't know if he did it 4 or 5 times a week. And I saw him, I think it took him a while, a year or so. He just got down to the weight that he wanted to get to just by walking after dinner consistently. He just slowly but surely started to walk, and he backed up a little bit on his portions of food. He was overeating at times, and he feels like $1 million. He goes to the doctor. He's not looking to be jacked up or any of that stuff, or looking to run a mile in a certain amount of time or any of those things. He just wants a healthy life. He just wants to look decent or look good or feel good. Because really, if you don't feel good, what's the sense of any of it? If you got to get up at 5 in the morning every morning to go do your workout, and you're not a morning person, how do you think that's going to last? Or after work, you like to do other things, then you're running to the gym for 2 hours, and you're exhausted, and you'd rather be home with your family or doing other things. How long is that going to last? It's not going to last. But if you, again, start doing things that maybe you like as a family or by yourself, that could be, again, walking, hiking, could be surfing, depending on what, you know, demographic, you know, what area you live in. Really is going to dictate sometimes a lot of times your fitness. So if you're in California, a lot of people I know obviously surf, hike, they do a lot of bicycling, they do a lot of different things. Then you take the Midwest or colder weather areas, they do a lot of indoor things, which would include obviously working out in gyms, or some even do swimming. Well, that works exterior as well, but a lot of people do swimming, a lot of them do yoga, a lot of them do a lot of different classes inside the gym, and they do weight training and all different things that are more interior than exterior. And if it's cold out, they also like to go snow skiing and what's that other, snowboarding. Did I say skiing? Skiing as well. But here's the thing, just find what works for you. Just know in your heart that you want to find something that makes you feel good when you're doing it. Hopefully you could find something that is very healthy that you can do. It doesn't have to be drastic. It doesn't have to be insane. All right? So, and again, that doesn't mean you have to join a gym. It doesn't mean if you're a woman, you got to join Orange Theory because all your friends are doing Orange Theory. It doesn't mean you all of a sudden, because a certain brand is coming out with, yoga clothes and all this, that everybody jumps on the yoga phase. You may not like doing yoga. Don't get caught up what others are doing. Set your own pace. Figure out what you like to do. And again, you may not like to do anything physical. I get it. I have a daughter that hates to sweat, but she controls her food portions, and she does a lot of walking and things in that nature, and she lives in Florida. She doesn't mind swimming or doing other things, but she just doesn't like fitness. Then I have another daughter that's obsessed with fitness. All she likes to do is hang out in the gym, like myself when I was younger, and I guess I still do. But you have two different opposite extremes. They're both in pretty good condition or in pretty good shape, just in their own ways. So I'm going to leave it at that. But please find what works for you. Don't think that just joining a gym is the answer. Don't think by just hiking may be the answer. And you know what? Be realistic. If you do want to be jacked, hypothetically, and you want to be built and stacked and have a six-pack, that's going to take a lot of work. You're most likely not going to do that by just walking or even running. Again, you may, depending on your genetics, but for a lot of people, that's not it. To be certain things, it's going to take a lot of work, so be realistic. But if you just want a healthy, decent lifestyle, you'd be shocked just changing your diet up a little bit, maybe getting some more sleep, maybe even getting some more water in your system, or doing all these small things may just make you feel a lot better, and you don't, again, have to always join a gym or do what everybody else is doing, all right? So I'm going to leave it at that. So if you get a chance, subscribe to my channel. I also have a podcast called The Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? I also have a Facebook page you could check out, and you can find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and other places as well, all right? All right, take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.